We're joined on this episode of Sox Degrees by the great Andrew Vaughn. Andrew, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
The first thing that I'm wondering about is how has your baseball brain changed since April the 1st?
You think about getting to the big leagues and how it's such a different level, it's such a different atmosphere, but it really is the same game, just on a bigger stage. And once you get to learn from veterans like Beto and Tim and those guys, they kind of tell you how to slow it down and just play your game and have fun.
When was the first time this year that you said, oh, this is harder than it used to be?
Definitely seeing a few of the fastballs some of those guys had the first couple weeks in the season, and there's some life to it, and I haven't really seen that in my career, and then it's just an adjustment period from then.
The beard is going well.
I'm working on it. I'm trying my best.
How many days from Pito are you with that beard?
Not catching him. It'll take a year.
You got no shot.
I've been trying I think it's been going like 2.5 months now, and this is all I got to show for it, so it's a touchy subject.
Oh, it's touchy. Yeah. I touched a nerve.
It never grows. So very proud of it, though. I will tell you that. Very proud.
You just have to get to rubber band territory. That's it. If you can just get to the point where you can wrap a rubber band around just a couple of little whiskers, you're good.
I think hopefully in September, mid to late September, hopefully that'll happen.
Hey, I want to ask you, Andrew, about your defense. And I don't know, going into spring training, if you had any conception of how much defense you would play. I noticed in spring training, you made a couple of really nice plays at first base, and I said, he's got good hands over there. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the month, you're trying to learn the outfield. Can you go back to the pre-Eloy injury and kind of your mindset going in, thinking, okay, I'm probably going to DH a lot. I don't know how much defense I'm going to play. And then now shifting to when that injury happened and you've basically become the main starter and left until Eloy came back. Can you remember what that felt like?
Yeah, I would say going in, first things first, I was fighting for a job. The biggest thing for me was trying to make the club out of spring training. And I figured that would be at the DH position because that was really the only position open on the team. And Pito plays an unbelievable first base, and I was thinking maybe I could give him a couple of days off here and there if I was playing first well. And yeah, that was kind of my mindset, just get in there and get ready to hit. But then when Eloy went down, it was kind of a whirlwind of crazy, and went out to the outfield and was putting in a lot of work with Debo and getting ready for the season to start out there.
So after the injury and kind of the initial shock wore off, did you go to Tony or the staff, or did they come to you in terms of playing the outfield? Was one of your immediate thoughts, hey, I'll do whatever it takes, or did they come to you?
I'll never forget it. Tony came up to me and said, hey, you ever play outfield before? I said, not really. He goes, you got an outfield glove? I said, yep. He said, all right, let's go. Went over to the backfield to start taking some fly balls.
That is awesome. So you had an outfielder's glove?
Yeah, I got one in Schaumburg last year at the alternate site.
So you somebody gave it to you, or you went and got how did that work? Did you tell somebody you wanted to have one just in case, or what?
Yeah, so I signed a deal with Rawlings for a couple gloves a year. I was assuming first base gloves, so I had to text my agent and say, hey, do you think they have any outfield gloves on the shelf that I could use? And got one. It was there in 2 days, so it was pretty quick.
Well, since we're on gloves, I didn't ask you about your second baseman's glove. It looked bigger than a lot of the gloves I see. Is it a true second baseman glove, or?
No, it's a third baseman glove. 12 inches.
Okay. Got it.
What was that first day like on the backfield when you're like, okay, I'm an outfielder now?
Definitely strange because I hadn't actually played the outfield in a live game since I was 15, maybe. So I just really wanted to get in that first spring training game and see how that was going to go.
But so you were excited about it?
Yeah, I was getting an opportunity to play and show my stuff and kind of challenge myself, I guess you could say, because I'd never played the outfield and I wanted to see how I could do and see if I can help this team win down the road.
What was the hardest part of playing outfield initially? What was the one thing where you're like, ooh, I got to get better at this?
I would just say reading the ball off the bat, learning to hear the sounds of the bat and learning just guys' swings, guys' paths, knowing where the pitches are coming in, and just being able to go straight to the ball instead of kind of watching it first and then being able to go for it.
I want to go back a little further. What was young Andrew Vaughn's prized possession?
Oh my goodness, how young are we talking? Because most recently it's been fishing poles. I have quite a collection at my parents' house.
How many?
There's probably 20 of them. I have a problem getting new ones every time.
So, as a non-fisherman here and a Chicagoan, what is the difference between your 20 fishing poles?
Well, I did a lot of bass fishing where I grew up, so I mean, there's too many different techniques for bass fishing to get into it. We can make a whole podcast on that if we wanted to.
So it's all about like the different technique you're using?
Yeah, different lures, different baits, different lines, all this random stuff.
All right, teach us real quick about baits.
I mean, all right, my first favorite would be a topwater frog. And you got to use a heavy pole because you're throwing that into grass and lily pads and stuff. And my next favorite would be a crankbait. So you use a lighter rod so it can bend. So it has this little action to it, so it makes your lure dive. And then I would say just throwing a Texas rigged worm. And that one needs a rod in between those two. It's all crazy.
Len, did you catch any of that?
Yeah. My dad
Okay.
fishes, and I've caught bluegill and crappie and lots of freshwater perch. So are you the kind of guy who likes to go freshwater fishing and then throw them on a grill, or are you catch and throw them back?
I usually catch and release. I would say that. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite type of fishing? If you had to pick just one.
I love to go steelhead fishing. I grew up on the Russian River, which, I mean, it doesn't get very many steelhead, but if you hook into one of those, they pull real hard and they give you a good fight.
So you like the fight? That's what you're in for.
The fight and the challenge. I mean, sometimes you can go to a place and catch a fish every cast, but sometimes you can go to a place that's the most beautiful country in the world. You're in the redwood trees fishing, and you might not catch a fish, but you're having a great experience.
So before
is there a little Zen quality to fishing that it's not baseball, it's stress-free, so to speak? Is that part of the allure?
No, 100%. You get to get outside and just kind of be free. No one around you. You get to do it on your own. You can take a buddy sometimes, but yeah, it's just kind of a peaceful, I guess, meditation.
So there was this piece on Fangraphs, Andrew, recently about your adjustment of your hands and your swing. What spurred that, and why did you do that?
Came straight from Frankie. I mean, it came from both of us. I was just not seeing results, and I was missing some pitches that I should never have missed. I've always hit fastballs, and I was missing fastballs not even out of the strike zone at the top. And I went to Frankie, and we kind of looked at my swing, and we're like, my hands were moving too much. They were doing a big old sweeping motion, and it was kind of creating a bad angle of the bat going in, and just had to smooth it out and make it more simple, and just kind of stuck my hands back there and throw them right at the ball.
Frankie is Frank Menachino, your hitting coach.
Yes.
What's your relationship like with him? I mean, he's right out of Central Casting. He's a very fun-loving, honest guy, and probably not afraid to get in a guy's face every now and again, huh?
Yeah, I think the best thing about him is that he's so honest, and he'll tell you how it is. He's seen several swings over the years, and he kind of knows what you need to do, and he kind of has learned every single one of us differently. I mean, I feel like everybody's has to be coached differently, and I think we've all just formed that great relationship with him, and he's able to get in there and be like, hey, this is what you're doing. I think you need to get this figured out and then attack this plan, and it's been working.
We see a lot of guys go up to him. We saw you do that on our telecast in Baltimore and talk in game. I want to ask overall, what is the bench like in game for the Chicago White Sox?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of chatter going around, guys telling each other what the pitcher's got, what we're seeing. I mean, the scouting report sometimes may be a little different than what he's actually throwing that day. Sometimes maybe his ball's not has a little more life on it or something, and we get to all chitter chatter about that and get through Frankie and just be like, hey, what's this guy got? What's his velo? What's his stuff? And just, simple scouting report stuff.
Who's the funniest player on that bench?
Funniest guy on the bench, you got to watch TA when he's not playing. I mean, that's something special. He is fun out there, definitely.
What kind of stuff is he doing on the bench when he's not playing?
No, fires the boys up. He's watching the game. Definitely a little smack talk going on. But yeah, he's in it. He's in it all 9 innings, even if he's not playing.
I think my favorite part about Tim Anderson is when he says something under his breath about somebody, and basically that he's just going after somebody, but he says it kind of to the side. I like that. You know what I'm talking about.
I've seen it.
So we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Jim Thome. I know you've forged a great relationship with the Hall of Famer. And in Iowa, Paul Konerko and his son came up to you. Is that correct? What was that like, meeting Paulie and talking to him?
It was special. I mean, there was actually a pretty funny story about it. During COVID, we were hitting in Arizona with Ryan Newman, our Winston-Salem manager. And a guy walked by with this kid and didn't think anything of it. And Newman goes, you know who that was? And all of us go, no idea. And he goes, that's Paulie Konerko right there. We go, no shot, because he's unrecognizable without the goatee. That was the trademark, and we saw it, and I was like, oh my goodness, next time I see him, I definitely have to say hi. So when we found out he was at Field of Dreams, I got to go up and meet him.
Well, the funny thing is, though, see, this is the moment I was kind of referring to before, in a way. They wanted to meet you, and you wanted to meet them. That's the big league moment, right? When it doesn't make sense that Paul Konerko wanted to meet Andrew Vaughn, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was mutual. Getting to meet him was something special. Getting to meet his son was really cool, and that day was just unbelievable. It was a movie.
Yeah, what was that whole experience like of playing in a cornfield, basically?
I mean, we got there and it was miserably hot. It was smoking hot for BP when we were taking pictures and getting to be out there. But the scene was beautiful. I mean, they couldn't have put a field in a better position with the corn in the outfield. The barn batter's eye was so cool. The old time scoreboard, and it was a special day. And getting to go see the original field and having Kevin Costner on the field when we walked out of the corn just kind of put the icing on a cake.
What does baseball mean to your family, Andrew?
Shoot, that's a pretty difficult question because we've kind of lived and breathed baseball since I was 5-6 years old. Now I'm out the house and kind of living on my own, and they're back doing their own thing. I know my dad's picked up gardening now. He's got a couple planters boxes in the backyard, and they just got a new dog, so they're kind of having to wrestle the puppy. But yeah, they love baseball. I know they have it on TV every night. If they don't, my dad's got it on his phone, and my mom's watching it on tape. So it's very important to our family.
When did it hit you I am a big league baseball player? When did that really strike you this year?
Oh man, I mean, I think it hit me right away getting to make my debut in Anaheim. I had a couple friends and family there, and didn't have any great results. Didn't get that first hit out of the way for quite some at bats, but just getting to talk to them, and they're like, "Dude, you're here," and it was just a pretty surreal moment.
So I'm looking at the Yankees series, and I'm just double checking. And, this is all about fun and games, but you did, I think you hit into a triple play. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I only bring that up because that was against Aroldis Chapman, and you would then hit a big home run against Chapman. So the lows and the highs, right, all in the same series. And you hit the tar out of the ball for the triple play. Of course, that's how triple plays are turned. But had you ever hit into one before in your life, number one? And number two, would you say the home run off Chapman is the best home run you've hit this year, or would you pick another?
I've never hit into a triple play. We turned one in Winston-Salem last year. I do remember that. So it's a great feeling when you're on defense and you get 3 outs with one swing. And I did say that me and Aroldis Chapman have the weirdest stat line ever. I've had 2 at-bats, made 3 outs, and I have 1 home run.
That's it.
I don't know if they have that off anybody, but so pretty strange. Pretty strange.
Yeah. Okay, tell us about the home run.
Yeah, I mean, we were down 4-3. Frankie Menechino came in the cage and was like, "Hey, you're about to face Chapman. Let's go." And I was like, "All right." And like I'd been getting loose because I knew he was warming up and I knew we had some lefties in the lineup. And he gets behind the L screen and he is just throwing missiles at me, throwing them as hard as he can. And I started barreling him up, putting good swings on it. And I was like, I'm going to get him today. And went out there. I think he threw me a first pitch slider because I swung at it the night before, 2 nights before. And then grooved me a fastball and I just put my best swing on it and a good result happened.
How hard can Frankie throw when he's playing Aroldis Chapman?
I mean, shoot, when he's 35 feet away throwing it as hard as you can, it can look pretty fast.
So what's your relationship like with your manager? I've talked to Tony a lot about you, and the superlatives he runs out of them to describe your makeup and the way you go about your business. The fact that after you made the spot start at second base, you continue to take ground balls there. Whatever you're asked to do, you do it with gusto. It's not like you shake your shoulders and say, "Yeah, sure." You attack every challenge with a lot of energy. What's your relationship like with a Hall of Fame manager in a unique situation?
Yeah, I think it's definitely grown so much over the full season because, yeah, you come in, it's kind of intimidating having Tony La Russa as your manager and you're just this rookie showing up, trying to make a spot and just trying to help the team. Trying to help the team win, and it's just you go out there and grind. And then as the season progressed, he gets more open, and he's been talking to us, and he's actually kind of jokes with us a lot now, and he'll get you sometimes, so you got to watch out. But it's been great. I mean, his knowledge of the game and just being able to help you with a little thing every single day can make a whole difference for your career.